So in 14 days and 13 hours, Chahyun will officially be gone. However, she will then transfer over to the custom draw banner, so we say, because that's how they did with Choi. Beast is going to be disappearing from us in 13 hours and 15 minutes. And so there is a replacement banner. That is right. So obviously, just an FYI, when he's gone, I assume, as many of us do, that the custom draw banner will get him as the next new lineup being added onto the rate up list. Well, here it is, Emma. Of course, we know the two fillers being Emma and Min. We know that they're going to have their own rate up banner. So it's going at Chahyun, Emma, Alicia, Min. That's the cycle of how they are doing the banners. I could be wrong, you know, if they, I mean, I'll have to do a separate video about it, talking about Alicia and if she is next or if she isn't next. You know, the developers can switch up on us if they choose to, but Emma is the next rate up banner ish. She will be dropping pretty much on the daily reset, so when Beast goes, Emma will then effectively be in, and she is here until the 29th. And if you look at the time and date, it is perfectly in line with Chahyun. So when Emma releases, they're both going to be disappearing together, and so that now confirms Alicia is going to be releasing at the end of the month. So there you go. If you guys want to get yourself prepared ahead of time, then you can do so. So with all that being said, it now comes down to is she worthy of summoning, because at the end of the day, she's coming in as a rate up banner. It requires your silver tickets. We know Alicia's dropping at the end of the month, and with how she looks so far with the news that we have about her, she's coming across as an amazing water type unit, especially pairing up her with Jiwoo, of course. That water pair is going to be absolutely disgusting in terms of damage, support, the ice armor that she provides, that buff, insane. And so from that, I know a lot of people are more catering to her. That kind of makes sense, but at the same time, Emma herself is one of the, or like a top tier character within the game. Everyone classes her as that, of course. So as it stands right now with my Emma, I'll admit I have kind of slowed down on working on her, but she's still doing her job in terms of the AoE control, and that's the key thing which I absolutely love about her. Alright, so when it comes to Emma, the first thing which I will say is that she has break coverage everywhere. Everywhere, being her basic attack, core attack, basic skills, special skills, break all around. And once that enemy is in that break state, she will eat, well, she'll feast upon that because it'll allow her to do more damage, of course, once that enemy's in that breaking state. So she'll benefit from all of that. So just, yeah, keep in mind, anything to everything this girl does, she will break. She will effectively break down that breakage bar in order to break the enemy to get that break extra damage, or benefit from it, I guess. So yeah, so obviously with the core attack, does good amount of damage. I mean, it's only at level 2 too, so I'll give her that. Okay, that's fine. And then of course with that you can apply burn, and you can benefit from that by applying the DOT, because obviously when we get into the skill side of things, burn up, this will benefit you from having crowd control, as well as doing increased damage of 10% if the enemy is burnt, of course. So obviously that's something to take note of. But this skill right here is probably my favorite skill for her. This might be my favorite AoE skill. The control of the area for doing AoE damage, probably the best skill right now. When it comes to Battlefield of Time and people needing that AoE control, if you guys check on the leaderboard, everyone is running Emma pure because of this specific skill. This skill right here is so it's broken. I'm not gonna. It's because you wouldn't expect some of the mobs outside of this attack to get hit, but they do. Like, the range of this AoE is so freaking, it's broken in my eyes, and this is one of the main reasons why people are getting extremely good time and being able to take out multiple or a whole bunch of enemies all at once. This skill right here is a huge sell, is an absolute huge sell. And then you've got Flame Cleave, of course. Heavy break. This is the skill that I think out of all her skills provides you with the most break. Once again, if the enemy is burnt, then you do get a 10% increase on the on the enemy to do more damage, of course, so keep that in mind. But this attack right here provides you with a lot of damage, and more importantly, an extremely good amount of break coverage. So yeah, love this skill too, but this AoE control skill is just absolutely phenomenal. Alright, going over to the support side of things, of course, again, providing medium break. When the skill is used, it applies the heat absorption and heat emission effects. So what that is, heat absorption increases defense by 7.77%. The user recovers HP equal to 7.77% of their damage taken. This is for 20 seconds. Heat emission will give you defense penetration by 7.77%, and then when the user's fire damage, increases by 7.77%, and duration is 20 seconds on that one, of course. So I would say more for the defense pen support right here, so that's beautiful. But just an overall defense and offensive coverage right here from the her passive. This is essentially her passive on what she has with the heat absorption and heat emission, of course, which we'll get into in just a second. Furthermore, going into the QTE skill, of course, so break on this one is weak, however it's still break coverage. Not only that, she immediately applies the burn, so you can straight off the bat effectively just start going in and gaining that 10% increase on both your skills. So yeah, a nice little correlation between the two skills to kind of work hand on hand. So that is the brief look into her skills. Again, really solid unit with what she's got going on. Going over with the ultimate, Burning Pride. So again, Burning Pride does deal a good damage. You can really set up a DPS version of Emma and she'll actually do crazy amount of damage. I've put on, currently right now my Emma is in a support phase, but like my DPS phase of Emma, I was achieving like 0.5 mil damage. It was nice. So pretty much looking into this skill, while heat absorption is active, the skill's damage decreases by 33.33%, but the power gauge consumption and cooldown time are reduced by 50%. So a bit of a trade-off. I know some people might not want that. Well, yeah, I mean 33.33. I mean that's that bit of a drop. Bit of a drop. However, the trade-off, because heat absorption is more on the defensive manner, heat emission is more on the offensive. So while heat emission is active, skill damage increases by 77.77%. So it really is coming down to playing around with her passive and activating the heat emission if you are trying to capitalize on the highest damage from Emma. And again, if you can do that, she is packing an absolute punch. So two ways to go about playing with Emma, having that defensive and offensive role, and that full-on break coverage is fantastic. Burn, you gotta love that, the DOT that she can apply, and then effectively gaining from that extra 10% from both of her skills. This is why Emma is obviously one of the best units in the goddamn game, and fair play to the developers on making her a bit of a rate-up banner, because it's just like, it's such a good incentive to summon, because she is that great of a character. Now, going into the passive, to give you guys further more explanation if you guys are unaware, when it comes to the heat emission and heat absorption. So, heat absorption effect is applied for each specific action, and when the user uses Flame Cleave, which is this second skill right here, where it's just a heavy break. Alright, it applies the heat emission effect depending on how many instances of heat absorption are applied. Alright, when the user uses a basic attack and gets hit, the heat absorption effect is applied once. When the user uses their core attack, burn up, flame judgment, or extreme evasion skill, it applies the heat absorption effect 5 times. So those are your ways to get your heat absorption. When the user uses Burning Pride, which I believe is the ultimate, yep, it is the ultimate, it applies the heat absorption effect 10 times. So once, if you're doing your basic attack and gets hit, you get 5 heat absorption. Once you use your core attack, burn up, flame judgment, or if you just extreme evade, so dodge basically, you get 5 stack. And then if you use your ultimate, you get a 10 stack. So when it comes to heat emission, of course, again, just a reminder, in order to activate it and start getting stacks for heat emission, it comes from Flame Cleave. So once you've done stacking up your heat emission in means of, getting hit with the basic attacks, the core attacks and whatnot, and then the ultimate, and you're like, right, I want to transfer that over to being heat emission, you activate Flame Cleave, and then it will transfer all the heat absorption over into heat emission. So that's the activation right there. This heavy break right here. Alright, so the heat emission. At 5 instances, the user's defense penetration increases by 7.77%. At 10 instances, the user's fire damage increases by 7.77%. At 15 instances, the heat emission effect applies to the team members as well. So if you want to capitalize on giving everyone that fire damage increase as well as defense penetration, you can do so. And this is why the fire combination is disgusting. Her and Choi together is just, it's picture perfect. And so that's why these two is like one of the best combos in the game, and why a lot of people try to utilize this combination even beforehand. Before the global launch, Choi and Emma together were just practically everywhere, right? And honestly, fair play, because them two together just work so beautifully well. Going into the dupe side of her now, so with the first dupe, increases the break damage of burn up by 77.77%. So that's the AoE skill right here. Awesome, loving that. That is huge. Again, the break damage is, I think it's medium, right? Yeah, medium break. So that will help it out so nice right there. Moving along to the second skill, increases the user's break effect by 10%, increase the damage dealt to targets affected by the break effect by 20%. So that's why I mean how she's got full-on break coverage, and how she benefit from the enemy is in that break state to do more damage, of course. So that's where I've got my Emma, FYI. I've got her. So I would say the first dupe is just full-on break coverage, right? If that's what you want, that's what you're going to get with the first two dupes. All right. Going into the third dupe, heat absorption effect is applied to the team members. So right now, so obviously we can effectively give everyone heat a mission once we get that 15 stack. But heat absorption, our whole team will just get full-on defense increase in terms of their defense going up by 7.77%, recovering HP of course, and then gaining shield. So yeah, that third dupe is just a full-on support build, or a support dupe, should I say. Fourth dupe is increasing the HP user. Yeah, increase the HP. So she scales off from HP. Right, so when you are building her up, just make sure that you are giving her a ton of HP. That's key. That's extremely key. And then the last dupe, when the target enters the break state, resets the cooldown of all skills, recovers core gauge and power gauge by 100%, applies the damage increase effect. Damage increase 77.77%. Oh my god. 77.77% increased damage. I don't know why that was a tongue twister. That final skill right there, just build an offensive. I mean, well, no. If you want to build a DPS Emma, I would not hold you, like, go for it. By all means. If I had that last dupe, I would cater more for a DPS version of her. I mean, I still can, but that last dupe is insane to me, so if you can cater to that, hey, all the best to you, all the best to you. But anyway, Emma is an amazing character, full-on break coverage. You can build her up in a DPS way, in a support way. I'll do a whole video talking about that when it comes to building her up, on what to use and whatnot. But she is going to be the next rated banner starting from tomorrow, or the reset, whenever that is for everyone. And is she worth summoning? Absolutely. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and deny that. She's an amazing character. However, if you want to save your tickets, go for it, because at the end of the day, she's on the custom draw banner, and at the very beginning of the game, which most of you guys are, when it comes to growing out global, the game does give you a ton of tickets. And I mean that because at the very beginning when I was playing, I had a ton of tickets and I summoned. I should have saved a little bit, but it is what it is. And Emma was one of the units that pulled up early on. If you already have Emma, then you can, yeah, I mean, if you want to skip, you can skip. Unless you want more break support coverage with the first two dupes, then by all means. But yeah, as long as you got a copy of it, I think you'll be absolutely fine. But to be honest, actually, I think having Emma on the rate-up list gives a lot of people that breathing room. Because honestly, if she wasn't on that rate-up list and Emma was coming in as a new hot unit, or if Emma was coming onto global and they decided to take her off the rate up list and just make her that rate up character banner, then at that point, okay, yeah, go, get her, get your copy, you need her. And that, because that fire coverage is, yeah, for her personally, yeah, for that specific character, really solid unit. However, she's on the rate up list, she's on the custom draw banner. Breathing room. This is breathing room. This just gives you other means to go about getting her without having to use your high rarity resources, whereas the game itself, as I've mentioned multiple times, gives you a ton of these tickets as you're playing the game, and so effectively you can get her without spending the valuables, right? So that's one way to look at it, and you can go down that route. Unless you need her and you want her, then get your copy. But again, when it comes to dupes, of course, unless you want that break coverage support, go for it. If you don't, then just getting the initial copy does go a long way. And again, I say this from experience because it wasn't that long ago where I managed to get 2 dupes of her, but just by the initial copy, she was really helping me out, giving me fire coverage and the crowd control coverage, and as well as the break support. That was huge, absolutely huge. So.